Oh no!
What is a man?
It's a big maze.
A miserable little pile of secrets.
Thank you for resubscribing, Sayara. Thank you very much. 18 months. I'm glad the number of months is showing up correctly again. There have been some dumb reasons why some of this stuff doesn't work properly. Like, you can see that in the watch streak messages, they show up, but they don't process the emotes. There's only so much I can do about some of these things, but everything's improving over time. That's what matters. It is I, the cat. Cheapy, thank you for resubscribing for 1 year. Thank you. Personally, I'm a little bit more of a sleepy Hime at the moment. But I wanted to spend some time with all of you. I've been trying to push my sleep into a better place. Why did that not gigantify? Can you hold on a sec? I want to look at the bot. Squinting. Man, I thought I fixed that. It's okay, because any issue that comes up just means a little more time with all of you, right? Definitely changed the variable. It should then have... So how are all of you doing today? I get the feeling that I know what it is, but I'm not entirely sure. Power up type. Staying hopeful is all you really can do here. With these things, the world's a bit rough. Times like this stream are here to add a little light in the darkness. RoboWing, let's see if you... Okay, your indicator is working just fine. It's avoiding sending the messages in the chat correctly. So why didn't Sheepies gigantify? Sorry for sidetracking the entire thing, just to check this. I'm also especially sorry that you're spending bits on this, but... One of the annoying things is that it doesn't let me properly test this stuff myself, which is real dumb. But... just give me a moment. Really. Gigantifying is good. The thing is, since this is something that people pay for, I like it to work properly. You get what I mean? I'm just looking at the code here. Place it sets an image is gigantic or not is here. Oddly, thank you for the cheer. Oddly, if I try to do it myself, it doesn't send the message through the API at all. Whereas when other people do it the API does get the message, but something in my code along the way is messing up. It's as simple as that. See, this is set here. This argument. Looks like it's set up correctly here as well. Hmm. I probably can't spend too long trying to fix a bug in my chat widget right now. This bothers me. Okay, so what if I send the command to do the Gigantify the test event, setting myself as the user. And then... This must be some sort of order of operations bullcrap. Because clearly it does work. Thank you for resubscribing for 9 months, Kiki. How are you? Hope you're doing well. It's all set to go into the right event queue and everything, too. What I might have to do is send the message as part of the Gigantify and then ignore the actual message when it comes through. That's probably what I need to do. I'll look into that at another time. I'll just make a note to myself. There, I've made the note to myself, so I can fix it later. Because that fixed like a surefire thing to work. So anyway, I've had really messed up sleep patterns, and I've also had major fatigue from all the warm weather. It's been extremely hot where I am. Today I ate 8 donuts. There's 4 more still waiting for me. And I've been playing Forza. The new one. It's interesting enough. I really like the map and the general aesthetic. But me being me, I've spent most of my time doing anything but actually race. I've just been kind of cruising. And it's gotten to the point where the game is like, okay, you either race or you never progress. Right toward the end, because I've like got all of the progress I need except the last big one. And I'm just like, but do I want to race though? Do I want to race in this racing game? Do I really wanna? So that's kind of the situation there. You know, Firebot is going to include its own chat widget in the very near future that presumably will support gigantified emotes and a lot of other things. I'll probably still have to customize it, and that means I'll have to do all of the stuff I already did over, kind of. But in theory, it'll get better after Firebot actually pushes through the update that has the chat widget and everything in it. And I bet they'll do that before Stream Elements goes offline or whatever, since Stream Elements is apparently suffering and planning on shutting down their services or finding a buyer. I assume they'll find somebody that will run them, but I feel iffy and uncomfortable about things like that, you know what I mean? Stream Elements was never the best place. I don't, like, abhor them. But, I don't know. Today we're going to be playing Sonic Mania, and so the stream is going to be pretty short because it's gonna be a run of Sonic Mania. That doesn't take me all that long. It takes a little while, probably... We're probably looking at a 2-hour stream. Probably. But in that time, hopefully you will all enjoy, and I will do my best. That was Streamlabs Lab. Very similar service. What happened was Streamlabs had their own program, their streaming program, that was basically a modified OBS, and they called it Streamlabs OBS. And that was a big problem of brand confusion, so OBS was very upset, understandably so. Even though OBS is open source, you can't call your product OBS. You know what I mean? So that's what happened to Streamlabs at the time. Huh. Kiki's watch streak didn't go through either. I don't understand what makes watch streaks not go through, or makes them do go through, or anything like that. It's inconsistent. I still have work to do on the chat, I guess. But one thing at a time. I don't have a guess on the watch streaks. I think it might be... Yeah, I'll just do it like that on the watch streaks, and hopefully that'll fix them. Just made an adjustment to that, because it was something I could do quickly. I'm planning on more interesting streams than just Sonic Mania, but when I've had a headache all day, you know, it's background level, so I can manage it, but it's still there. And I'm also tired because of my sleep. I've been failing to push it forward because of the heat and all that. I've been going to bed at like 5 or 6. You know, I gotta take what I can get so that I can spend some time with all of you. So, why don't we play the video game? This Outrun song is extremely long, all Outrun music is, just saying. Let me know if there are any problems with audio or video. It's been a while since we've pulled up Sonic Mania. All the bot stuff happened since then. Should be fine.
It's party time!
Mania mode. Oh, Right, I have a whole bunch of save games, of course, why wouldn't I? All of them are Sonic and Tails, every single one. Why not? Sonic, man, you know those are underwater goggles, not aviator goggles, right? I like how Knuckles is just bemused. He's just like, Like, he doesn't care about this going on. I'm not very good with Ray. If you like Super Mario World, you would probably be very good with Ray. You can see why,
Is that
right?
what Chaos Control is?
Feels so strange. Knuckles and Tails were your favorites. Playing adventure. Oop! I flew out of the map. Man, what does my sister Noelle always call Ray instead of Ray? There's like some name. I personally think Ray is neat. He is a very classic Sonic character. But I've not really played as him much. Hey, Andy. Meow 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 meow. Meow 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 meow. Meow 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 meow. A single tuft of hair? Yeah, that is kind of strange, isn't it? When you put it that way, I kind of get it. Like, his design in this particular game makes him look kind of like indie platformer protagonist. You get me? And I know that's rich coming from somebody who worked on Freedom Planet, but he looks better in the 3D here, where it's more of just a hair spike. Somehow it makes him look more, I don't know, like Bubsy or Arrow the Acrobat, rather than Frank the Flying Squirrel from Frank the Flying Squirrel's Adventure on Steam Now, or something, you know? Bum, 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 bum. I'm invincible, you can't hurt me, I'm not invincible anymore, dang. Whatever. He's dead now. We can all move on. Ba-da-ba-ba. Why did the captions caption that as "shut up"? But I was just going along to the music. Is it commenting on me? Captions are telling me to shut up. I'm the streamer and they're rebelling. That's what's happening. You know, the monthly Sonic Marathon is soon. I don't want it to be next stream though. I want to do another Retro Achievement Variety stream. In like the afternoon, early afternoon. You know, one of those streams I do at like 1 or 2 instead of 5. Honestly, I find that earlier streams work for me more regularly in terms of like getting actual viewership and stuff. But I don't know. It's something I've been thinking about because I used to stream in the early afternoons, but then I switched to streaming at 5. I'm like, if I go back now, a bunch of people are going to be upset, right? That's... How do you deal with that? Then again, like, part of my entire streamer personality is that you can't pin down the times I would stream at. And no matter when I would stream, I would definitely still be streaming at 5 sometimes. So it's complicated. Probably the real verdict is I should just stop fretting it all the time, but I wouldn't be me if I wasn't fretting things. Meow 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 meow. You know, it seems like you can do Ray's thing in place, and it almost acts like a second attack, even though it doesn't protect you like Insta-Shield would. Interesting. Like, it seems like you get your frames reactivated. I wonder if that's right or not. Yeah, I think the real verdict is I should do both. Whatever my sleep patterns are, I should just deal with it, and if people want to unfollow me because I streamed at the wrong time too many times in a row, then that's their pierogi, I guess? Sometimes I get like 10 unfollows when I haven't even streamed, and yet when it's only been a couple days. Things are weird like that. You can't predict the audiences that much. Outside of like raw numbers, there's only so much. Hello, Greffrey. That almost worked. The button pushed down a little. And then we jump in a hole. Why is it bouncing the Phantom Ruby on its head? Hey, Matcha. I just hydrated, but thank you. If I hadn't... Like, people should be sending hydration reminders regularly no matter what. Did he just use that as hair gel? The thing about Ray is, like, he's mostly only good for going horizontally. Other Sonic characters you can get a lot of verticality with, outside of Sonic, of course. At the same time, he's not worse than Sonic, aside from the fact that I would probably be using the Insta-Shield if I were playing as Sonic. He can do this underwater? Oh, not very well. Hydro City Zone Act 2 is my answer. Also basically my favorite Sonic song in general, even though I'm not actually a big fan overall of the Sonic 3 soundtrack. I don't hate it, but that particular song is just wow. You okay there, Knuckles? Meow, meow, meow. Feed me now. I want food. Feed me food. Shockingly, Cat Streamer asks for food. It may surprise you. Ow! Get off of me, spider! You may have 8 legs, but you're not allowed to give me 8 hugs. You're supposed to do that with your arms. Sonic 2 was my first Sonic game. But then I discovered CD and fell in love. And Sonic 1 was alright. As a kid, I wasn't a big fan of Sonic 1. Man, I ate 8 donuts today. So... I've still got 4 left. Ba-da-ba-ba. Can a girl have 8 donuts? What do you think, chat? A bit much? Ba-da-ba-dum-bum. Wow. I must be stupid today if that made me laugh, but... Here's my question. Do you remember beating the game? This question doesn't actually narrow it down at all. Because, for one thing, the Master System in Game Gear Sonic 2 is incredibly cruel in general. But Sonic 2, Genesis Mega Drive, has the Death Egg robot. So, regardless of which one, your answer would probably be no. Or, I used a Game Genie. Whop. Bum, bum. I'm not saying this to make fun of any of your skills or anything, everyone. Obviously, I wouldn't do that to you. The kids are impatient. I've been a kid. I know how it works. Hey, Tarkus. Oops, I missed the rings. And I am going to run out of rings immediately because of it. Wow. Rude. Ah, time over. I don't play Mania as often as the others. Just like, if you play Sonic 1, CD, 2, 3, and Knuckles back to back once a month, you really don't want to put Mania in with that. Because, like, there is so much repetitiveness between that. Like, there's only, like, what, 4, 5 original zones? So, it ends up being really, really repetitive if you put Mania in a marathon like that. Fireball! Fireball! Ice Storm! How good am I at Puyo? I'm fine. I'm fine at Puyo. Basically, I think Mania is a great game, but it is, by its nature, basically a greatest hits collection. With a few twists to things, but you're seeing almost entirely classic stages and a small few extra ones. Lights, camera, action! Yeah, the original zones are great. It's my understanding that Mania originally came about because of these stages that they made. Like, they had already made these stages, come up with them, as basically something that would be included in a classic collection of Sonic games, similar to Sonic Origins. But Sega didn't go for that idea. So instead they were like, let's make a new game and include these zones, and all these old zones. Probably they still hadn't figured out what to do with Sonic 3 yet. I think it was before it became popular knowledge that the PC Sonic 3 tracks were the originals from the prototype. I feel like when that knowledge became more common, Sega realized they could use those and re-release Sonic 3, and people wouldn't be able to complain about that particular fact. But until then, I think they were mostly just hesitant, so... And like, if somebody had asked for... If they had released a collection without Sonic 3 and Knuckles, people would just be asking where it is. If you had a collection that was Sonic 1, Sonic CD, Sonic 2, and a bunch of original zones, like 4 or 5 of them, whatever, you would absolutely be asking where Sonic 3 is. And they didn't want people to do that, I think. This is a very good game, but like, you don't want to play it the same day that you play other Sonic games, so you're going to be like, oh, this is the same stuff I just played. Ow! Okay. This boss is almost verbatim something that Lake Pepper did in one of the Sonic Before or After the Sequel games. Yeah, Space Duck, believe me, I know. Why don't you look at the list of donators that allowed that prototype build of Sonic 3 to get out? You might recognize the name on there. But yeah, it had to become common knowledge that the prototype tracks were actually the original tracks for wide acceptance to happen. How well Sonic Mania has sold, I do not know. I look at a lot of things when it comes to my analysis and knowledge of Sonic, thus being such an educated Sonic historian that I can talk about Sonic all day. But one thing I don't ever look at is the sales numbers. Like, if a game sold bad, I will know generally that it sold bad, but I don't know crap about those sales numbers. Sometimes a game will sell well, but still not actually be... sometimes sales and perception are not directly correlated, is what I meant to say. Excuse me for not being as eloquent as usual because of... wow. Because of, being tired. Sometimes a game can be extremely good and sell pretty poorly. It took many years for Freedom Planet to actually make numbers. I blame myself a little for that, because I was PR for Freedom Planet when it first came out. And Freedom Planet is obviously a great game. Some flaws, sure, but great. If I'm not mistaken, Spark the Electric Jester didn't sell particularly well when it first came out either. Granted, both of these games had stories that they ended up rewriting somewhat after release. Go figure. And then Spark 3 is Neon Genesis Evangelion. What happened? How did we get there? Do I think Sega will ever make a new 2D Sonic game and call it Sonic 4? No. I do not think that they will ever make another numbered Sonic game. Not even Sonic 4. Now, if you were to ask me if I want them to do that, I'd say, yeah, sure. I would love for them to have a do-over of that, but I don't think it'll happen. Arcus, by that logic, Sonic 3 should have been called Sonic 4. Very good. Cats are welcome in this stream. I think we've made our point. Man. Sega Super Game. You know what the deal with that was, right? They were planning this big live service game thing where it would be multiple live service games that would interact in some way. Basically, someone killed them on the same argument that NFT bros were making. Of, oh, you can take all this stuff between your games. Like, it wasn't going to be NFTs. Don't be mistaken. But, you know, that kind of argument of, oh, all these games can just be completely related and interact in every way, and you can take things from one game to another and all that. Which is a really cool idea until you try to make it a reality. It's one of those ideas that we don't see much of for a reason. So, for example, you would have had like a Crazy Taxi game, and presumably you'd be earning money in it or something. And then you would go and take that to the Sonic the Hedgehog game and buy Sonic some new sneakers. And then you would go put those on your dwarf in Golden Axe so that he can run faster. You see the problem, right? Now that I put it that way, do you see the problem?
Wow, my head's spinning!
Me too, Tails. Yeah, basically like Archipelago, except you are collecting items for yourself between the different games instead of doing anything multiplayer with it. And real money is involved. Because why not? Basically, here's the simple version. Sega wanted to be the next Roblox. Despite the fact that Fortnite tried being the next Roblox, and is now failing. If you'd asked me 2-3 years ago if I thought Fortnite would ever fail, I would have said, hell no, that's impossible. That thing's going to be making money until the end of time. But they mismanaged it so badly, trying to make it into Roblox. And then funny enough, when they decided that they needed to start cutting costs, they removed some of people's favorite things from the game in order to cut those costs. I enjoyed Fortnite. I liked Fortnite quite a lot. It's unfortunate the way it went. Something like this can be enjoyable if there are creatives behind it that actually believe in it, even though the CEOs suck in every conceivable way. Yeah, Tarkus, I only ever played Zero build mode because build mode drove me frickin' insane. At the same time, whenever I would go into build mode for some reason, I found that I could kick people's butts because of the fact that I wasn't distracted the way they were. Because unless you're going up against, like, actual literal ninja, your opponent is probably doing a lot of thinking about what they're building. So anyway, liked that game for a while. Honestly, regret that it is dying. Obviously, Epic can... They can blow it out of their jackrabbit, for all I care, but... I do wish the game had not died, regardless. Because it was fun. People are still playing it, but it is bleeding money. There is no way it is sustainable anymore. A big part of that is the mismanagement everyone knows. Epic basically deciding that they could give away millions of games for free. Not literally millions, but certainly millions of copies. And that this would have no effect on their bottom line because they'd get so much goodwill that it would make up for it. Problem is, people already weren't big fans of Epic, and their launcher and everything, to this day, still compares very poorly to Steam. It doesn't even have avatars. After all this time, the Epic Games launcher will not let you choose an avatar. Basically, huge service issues. If Epic had actually, if they had competently worked on the parts of the product that actually mattered, they may have had that Gambit payoff. Giving away all those free games might have gotten them... Hidden? That's not a word. It may have caused them to receive a very large amount of goodwill. Instead, their initial release of the launcher had ties to China, and to this day it still is missing basic features. As the expression goes, although I'm not fond of it, they screwed the pooch. I think Corone deserves better than Epic. The broken clock is right once a day, though. Does anybody ever notice how I get expressions wrong on purpose sometimes? Just to see if anybody will react, but no one ever does. Anyway. They're right on rare occasion. In the case of Epic, the thing they were right about is that a lot of stores demand way too much exclusivity. For example, Google and Apple, mostly Apple. But Google's getting there. They're trying to take their environment closed wall as well. Epic's 100% right to call out the phone manufacturers on their closed wall environments, their closed garden. The way they did it was kinda dickish, but... Meow-apropisms. Ray's jumps don't hunt Eggman very far. Man, does Ray actually, like, need this in order to hurt this thing? That's dire. Dang. Anyway, sorry about getting into a ramble about live service games. Yeah. As much as I love Sega, and I do, I think that their Super Game project was a terrible idea, doomed to fail, and reeks of people who don't understand anything but the numbers. I've worked for people who didn't understand anything but the numbers before. They always think that they are bigger than you. Mind you, not at Exceed. Those people are fantastic. My boss is the coolest boss I can imagine ever having. But in the past, I've worked for people who are not exactly great. This game is not based on a true story. I was just about to hydrate. Thank you. Yeah, I understand why... Knuckles, there was a hang glider for you too! Why did you do that? Okay, so the thing is, live service games make sense on paper. And many of them do succeed for a time, although it's clear that fatigue has caught up with the market. But the idea for Sega Super Game, which is basically to make a million live service games all tied into one big live service, terrible. The reason Roblox succeeds is because so much of that is just user-made. It's kind of a hands-off game. My feelings on Press Garden are that it feels like it belongs in Freedom Planet, you know what I mean? And I'm again not saying this because I worked on Freedom Planet. I just think it's notable that the musical style and the palette both strongly resemble Freedom Planet. Along with the fact that it's got an Asian theme to it, of course. I only did a very modest amount of work on Freedom Planet 2, and I'm not credited for that. I uncredited as one of the testers. We'll probably never know the full story of why they didn't continue working with Team Evening Star. Like, there's differing accounts on that, because Christian Whitehead is always very polite and professional about all these dealings, but Stealth has implied in a frank and non-professional way that there was more to it and that they did want to do a sequel. Rather than the story Whitehead has given of mutually agreeing not to go ahead with it. I doubt that jealousy is involved, but you never know. Ow. Ouch. Okay, just hold on a sec there, Sarah. Do the letters spell anything out? I don't believe so. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. I was a little worried for a moment. I still kind of am. Oh, there we go. Sonic Team hasn't really existed in a very long time. It doesn't help that Yuji Naka became an actual criminal. Do I have much attachment to Phantasy Star? Mainly PSO, PSO2. Not so much the original single-player RPGs. Yuji Naka did not go to prison. Common misunderstanding. He got parole. Do I feel like Yuji Naka should have gone to prison? I don't know. Probably. Parole is kind of an I have money kind of thing. And the entire problem is that he was committing fraud for money. Neo Genesis was not great. It felt like they were trying to make a Monster Hunter game or something, so they just kind of forgot everything that was good about PSO2 originally. Also, for some reason, they left the original, the classic PSO2's economy in shambles. They ruined it beyond disbelief right as New Genesis was starting, and never made any move that would have improved that. Yeah, look at all this and tell me this isn't a Freedom Planet stage. Knuckles, you okay? Everything here is lovely, but yeah, the cherry blossoms really make it. Ray looking around the same way you'd expect Crash Bandicoot to. Man, part of me, I don't think it would ever even nearly happen, but I would love to, part of me would really love to see, like, a platformer all-stars game that's just like, it's a platformer game, but you can play as, like, Sonic, or Crash, or Gex, or Arrow the Acrobat, or Lilac, or get Mario in on that, and, like, have one stage from each of their games with a twist to it. Possibly give it a slightly different layout for each character if you need to, because their physics would all be so different. And then, after you've beaten the game as all of them, you unlock a last stage where they all have to work together. Yeah, I don't think Nintendo would go for it, but they are starting to really be desperate for money. You know, they just announced a mobile game that's basically WarioWare, but you have to use your phone's cameras to take pictures of people. I think we all know why they made that. And it isn't because people like that. Anyone who doesn't understand, the answer is data harvesting and selling data. Because this is specifically a phone game, rather than, like, something on one of their systems. Knuckles? Knuckles? He's okay! I don't think Knuckles even knows where he is. He has not been a team player. It was particularly interesting seeing him glitch into that floor, admittedly. Kind of amazed that this stream doesn't have any clips so far. You tried to do the zip. And that is how the classic Sonic zips work, huh? Despite the fact that I play the games so often and play them for speed, I've never learned any zips because I just felt like it would be against the spirit of the game for me. Although if anyone ever wanted me to, like, perform a speedrun, I would probably learn it for it. It's something I've thought about in that kind of context. Any favorite games to go for speedrun? Hard to say. Thank you for the follow. I do enjoy doing, you know, like, glitchless speedruns of Sonic, in so much as any Sonic playthrough is glitchless. Like, when you talk about a glitchless Sonic playthrough, you have to qualify it. I also like the Dragon Quest I on Game Boy Color speedrun, which I do in my spare time. Ever since my friend Dot taught me. When do we race? Come on, you've got so much experience, you're like, when do I get to beat you up? I don't know, Kiki. When do we race Sonic CD? Hello, welcome. How are you? I don't mean that to sound mean, Kiki. I appreciate you. I just think you would kick my butt. You're doing really good. I'm glad to hear that. Not very common these days. Certainly a set of words I would like to hear more. Come on, get closer to the ground. Man, Kiki, that's like telling me you used to challenge Bigfoot to a fight. That didn't make any sense, Sarah. What the hell are you talking about? When are we gonna battle in Pong? No. We'll match off in Lords of Lunar on the Making of Lunar CD by Working Designs. I'm gonna barf, but also it's a good version of Lords or whatever. That's like Advanced versus Breakout. Twinkle Stars 1v1. See, I'd do okay at that. I don't know, I tried doing a competitive race type of thing like that once or twice. And my conclusion that I've always come to is that it's like Nuclear Bomb versus Coughing Baby, and I am not the bomb. I'm sure some of you think I'm the bomb, and I appreciate that.
Oh my god, JC, a bomb!
Man, nobody says that anymore. And it's very understandable that they don't. That saying went away with like 9/11.
Bomb.
The outdated saying I use the most is "I can dig it." Bomb diggity? God. I thought that was satire. My feelings are... I have my own way of talking, but sometimes this will involve slang that is more recent and sometimes stuff that is more old, but I will never do anything because it's the current thing. Because I wasn't talking like current thing even when I was a child. The English dub of Dot Hack? Huh. Oh boy, he's walking. This is one of those he thinks he's him kind of moments. Except he thinks that he's the giant Death Egg robot from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Eh. Sorry for that, I was alt tabbed for a second. Retro City! Ray is green now! When you're green, you can't escape. Did you know that? Oh, that? Yeah, they gave the beginning real water, because there's no technical limitation stopping them. See, Mountain Drew probably gets it. That's in the same ballpark. It's kind of funny that I just sort of gave up on emeralds because searching for them as Ray is exceptionally difficult. most of the emeralds are hidden in places that are for, like, Tails and Knuckles. Even Sonic alone has a lot of trouble.
I'm out of here.
Okay, Ray. You do you, buddy. Oh my god, no. You can stop, I'm already dead. You don't have to keep making that sound. This is not a ROM hack. It is the decomp. There's only some minor music modifications. The gameplay is entirely vanilla. And welcome in, how are you? Man, now I'm thinking of the time when I streamed Sonic Origins, but my gimmick was somebody messed with my Genesis sound chip. Oh, no, there's zone-specific, like, invincibility themes and such. Very minor stuff. Oh, Hydro City in Sonic Mania has a lot more underwater if you are playing as someone like Ray who doesn't have much verticality.
Kaboom!
I never liked this boss fight much because it just takes a long time. It's a very funny idea, but then you realize how tough it is to get a hit on him safely. And that makes the novelty of it a bit less entertaining. There we go.
He was a good man. What a rotten way to die.
What a rotten way to die. Greenlow! Welcome! Hello! At least one of you was already here. Pretty sure. Hey Quark. Hey Anthony. Hey Rukaw. Hey Red Blue Fire. Green, remember to shout yourself out. Guess who got rolled in the art wheel today? Ray the Flying Squirrel? Hello, Patchy. I wish I could remember what Noel always calls him. It's something real— Dale. Dale the Flying Squirrel. That's his name. In unrelated news, you have new art. I'll be sure to check that after the zone is over. I think it was initially a misremembering and became a running joke. Something like that. Yeah, Noelle of Gigaboots, no slam, very lovely streamer, and very big fan of Sonic, like I am. So of course I would happily defer to her on the real name of Dale the Flying Squirrel. There we go. So repetitive. Imagine if there was a streamer who was constantly getting game facts wrong in really funny ways. So they just had a wiki run by fans that had all of these gaming facts as if they were true. Can you imagine? But then again, expecting fans to run a wiki about something like that is a bit of an ask. When Gigaboots had a fan wiki, they couldn't even get Noelle's eye color right. Which you know is pretty funny in the context of a wiki about a streamer. The DS collection? I believe that collection was okay emulation. With like a few issues, but like nothing severe. It was emulation. The only ports you'll find are in Sonic Jam and the PC version of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And we ain't gonna call Sonic Genesis for the Game Boy Advance a port, sorry. That's more... I was a fan of Sonic, so I made an open source project where I recreate Sonic the way I remember it.
Oh no!
Sonic Rush? The music is cool, and it's understandable that people love the game because of the music, but that game is blind jumps into death pits constantly. And frankly, when I realized that, I just could not enjoy it that much. Yeah, pause buffering is a very good idea in Sonic Rush. It's kind of funny that somehow you manage to have two screens in which to view everything, and you still can't see crap. You know? Because you got two screens, but the game crashed. What? But you don't need to see things that are down there or up there. Why'd the game crash? That's freaking weird. No harm, no foul. That would be pretty good, Hulk busted. Also, I like that he still knocks Knuckles off, even though I'm playing as Ray. So Knuckles is off to play his version of this act, even though he's my teammate. I was supposed to look at the art. You know what? After this act, since it's an auto-scroller, I gotta focus. I really like this song, and yet for some reason I can't remember the notes. Usually I have a perfect memory for sound. Kind of the superpower I have in return for not being able to remember anything visually. The wandering scale, yeah, that is true. I do like that they adapted those enemies into things that suit the desert more. But it's funny because... like, the enemies in Sky Chase weren't originally made for Sky Chase. Most of them were made to be underwater. Oh my, they fly now. They fly now? They fly now. Of course Sonic can canonically fly the plane. It's his plane. It's a fact. Look it up. Like, not Tails later makes a second plane because the first plane got destroyed, but that plane was Sonic's in the first place, so yeah, he can fly a plane. Ah yes, that one arcade game where you play as Sonic in space. For little kids who are easily entertained for a quarter. One of those sit-in games. What the? Okay. Okay. I got in front of him. I mean, I guess it works. You know what they say, if it works, it ain't stupid. But that still felt kinda stupid. I love that they use the M1 house piano in this song, and yet they don't make it like the main instrument, it's just a backing track. Oh, sorry, from the Korg M1. You hear that instrument a lot in stuff like Sonic CD, but it's very overused to just have it be the main instrument all the time.
You know what they say, the more the merrier.
Oh yeah, this boss fight. This giant caterpillar just makes me think of the first boss of Freedom Planet 1. I would never accuse Team Evening Star of being inspired by Freedom Planet on any stage aside from Press Garden, where I wouldn't be surprised if they were. But it's funny how many things there are that are just giant jumping caterpillar type enemies in these games. And like, I think Freedom Planet was probably already taking that idea from somewhere. But it's just funny to me. It's such a treasure kind of boss idea, too. Freedom Planet is massively treasure-inspired specifically. Like, more than anything, that's a treasure game, basically. Okay, the game will freeze while I look at this. Okay, that's a different take on me than we usually see. I'm gonna save this so I can show you literally it all. Yeah, I'm sorry about the frozen game. Hold on. Here, you get some sort of music. This one's gonna look a little funny because of the way it's got a frame in it. But here, take a look. You put a poll in the chat to ask if I should have swirly glasses. It was unanimous. This is like if I was doing Pinball Lab, but something went a little wrong first, so I had to prepare in a hurry. Let's play Sonic Mania. Oh, we're over here now. Oh, there's a version you DM'd me that has something on the board. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Although it's cropped. Huh. It has like a pinball schematic on it, sort of. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I feel like I need to sneeze. Well, there you have it. I called my shot. Knuckles, are you breaking things over there? Buddy, you know you gotta pay for that, right? Bump, bump. Up, up, up. Oh yeah. I love that he makes that triple trouble sound effect when he appears. Fang. 1000% Fang. Besides, I have a friend named Fang. Although she is a woman, and not any sort of... What did they decide that Fang is these days? Not a weasel. Sniper is not a type of animal in this case. Sniper is not a type of animal. And these days, I think he's actually Fang the Hunter, because Sniper sounds too aggressive and dangerous. Fang the Knack. A snipe is not the same kind of animal. That's right, I was second-guessing myself. He's a jerboa. Instead of a weasel like he used to be. I was like, jerboa? But that doesn't sound right. I'm just thinking of some of my friends' characters. But no, he's a jerboa. That's a random change? I agree. Get shot to oil ocean. Ba-da-bum-bum-bum-bum. 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 I don't care about the main melody, I just care about that part of the song, okay? Get Fire Shield in the oil ocean, that's always a good idea. Definitely won't set the whole place on fire. What could possibly go wrong? Oh my god, you're reminding me when I was playing Bubsy in Sonic 2, and Oil Ocean was terrible as him because of fall damage. I don't think I ever figured out how to clear Oil Ocean as him. I was at it for a while, though. That one's one that I bring up sometimes when I'm doing my Retro Achievements variety streams, which I'm planning my next stream to be one of those too. But like, you really have to do one zone at a time and put a lot of careful thought into it because it's way more of a nightmare than actually playing Bubsy. Which is a strange combination of words to hear, I'm sure. But if you want to see somebody playing Bubsy, my friend Masumi TV has recently been playing through all the Bubsies, so you can always count on her. I do not think she will play Sonic 2 Bubsy. And for her sake, I hope she does not. Get a shout out to Masumi. I know you mods know the correct channel name. With the underscore and everything. Was Bubsy 4D any good? To my understanding, yes. So, you know, can't really be considered a Bubsy game. My understanding is it's basically based on a different game by the same developer, so it's more that than it is actually Bubsy. But I could be mistaken. That's my understanding of it, though. And you got, like, what, Sean Chiplock or someone voicing Bubsy? Man, I remember the days when Freedom Planet was a relatively big role for him. Now he's everywhere, ever since he became Marine. Which I remember when Exceed was working on the dub of Cold Steel or whatever, looking at the potential voice list and just because we had like this big Kiseki group chat, and I was just like, oh, Sean Chiplock, I know him from Freedom Planet, get him! You know, because he was one of the possibles for Reen. I don't know if my input actually mattered, but I was all for it, is my point. Songs for Salty Bet? Man, I don't know. John's done so much stuff. Knuckles, you good? Knuckles? Buddy? Oh! That could have gone better for me. Upside down fire shield? Why was the monitor upside down? Burn to the ground. Ow! You'll never be able to think for the rest of the day. Oh good, I've managed to empty your mind of terrible thoughts. I like how you can just ignore the submarine. You can get inside of it, or you can just go. Ow, wow, 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 wow. Hey, Eggman, you know you already did this faucet oil lotion, right? Yeah, all of the music in Mania is phenomenal. I wanted to say phenomenal. Phenomenal. Whoa, whoa, whoa. No! That roll. Roto. Oops. Knuckles, you good? I suppose not, you're dead. How's it going, Critic? Good job, Knuckles. Wow, great job, Knuckles. Thank you, Knuckles. Because Knuckles was here. It was fun. Hazuki, my head is background levels. So, you know, like radiation is considered within tolerable limits. It pains me to have to kill that octopus. Ba-da-ba-ba. You know, if you reverse the L and R's, it sounds like you're talking about some sort of fancy tea. Would I drink Rava leaf tea? I do not know. Hey, I'm invincible! Title card. You can't defeat me, I'm... Keep out. No, sir, I don't think I will. I like ketchup and I like French fries. I'm a quite sincere person. There goes the spikes. And these shoes can't even handle lava. I bet Goombas never have that problem. Down, down, down. Crap. Oh, I'm okay. Just wait for the lava to pass before you continue moving in your shoes. Completely forgot that there was a rising lava section. I do not have this version of Lava Reef mentally mapped. Interesting. That was a hell of a damage boost, though. Yeah, I almost always take higher paths. It's pretty rare for me to be on such low paths, but when you're playing as Ray, it just kinda happens. Hey Fur, how you doing? Oh right, this is one of those bosses that defeats themselves. Oh. Crap, not there. Ow! I cast Summon Spike Ball. What? You don't have that spell? I do, I am pretty sure. Boink. Freaking love him. Lava Reef 2 Hidden Palace-ish zone. Meow. Meow, meow, meow. And I die immediately. Meow. One up, no! And you can hear me meow along to this song once a month around the 20th of each month when I do my Sonic marathons. I think that's a disincentive, Sarah. Should have rolled. It's funny because I have some sense of singing talent, like literally all, and I spend it on meowing. Like, oh, Sarah, you're always in pitch. But why do you do it meowing all the time? How's it going, Renee? Have to hit the button. I want to hit it without hitting the bonus area. That poor dinosaur. That poor dinosaur. That poor... You get the point. I'm always saying this, particularly when I survey ocean rigs. Oil rigs, Sarah. You run the joke. Don't worry, they're robots. They don't feel pain unless they want to. I'm sorry, he made them all feel pain so that they would feel like there is a consequence to performing inadequately. That's not canon, but it sounds right. Okay, what now? Oh yeah, the moto bug. Why is Ray mogging? Hey, Mustang. Yay! How are you? Yay! Story behind this particular boss is there was a member of the Sonic fan community who absolutely loved motobugs. And when he unfortunately passed, well, I usually don't have nearly this trouble against him. But I'm playing as Dale the Flying Squirrel, so... Plus, Knuckles is not really helping. He's been a terrible partner. We need, like, relationship counseling. Because I've literally never had this much trouble with this fight before this. Whoa. I made a funny sound, but that was really close. Like, jeez, was that a close situation? We're mogging. Anyway, there we go. I managed to actually land one of those glides for once. Masmi, you, like, Super Mario World, right? So obviously you would enjoy playing as Dale the Flying Squirrel. It is so weird having the friggin' Cape Mario in a Sonic game. No wonder I never play this character. My main complaint about this game is just there's too many final levels, like, back to back. And you get, like, a sense of exhaustion. At least I do. I need breaks between my final levels, you know? Ow. Ow. What the heck? That should have gotten me hurt. Yeah, no squid. Ow. No, the door's closed. I simply ended up in the room with the spikes. Boy, I wish I had known not to go into the room of spikes. Oh yeah, it's the boss, it's the final boss of Sonic 1, except silly. Eggman, you've picked the same one 3 times in a row, dude. I'm not sure you know how this works, actually. I do like the way they mix this fight up with this part, though. Stop. Oh, that was risky. I decided to go for it. I don't know. Yeah, I like this version of Metallic Madness song. Yeah, I enjoy the rap, which I think is from a stock vocals CD. And I like the line in CD in the Bad Future song or whatever. It's like, you can't do anything, so don't even try. Get some help. Don't do what Sonic does. And it also makes me think, for some reason, of Michael Jordan being like, "Stop it, get some help." Very weird kind of thing to put together, but that's how my mind works, okay? You know, I always thought that Jim Carrey was the perfect pick for Eggman. I don't know, maybe he has a contender. Maybe there's a rival here. Now that we've got the thought of Michael Jordan Eggman. Idris Elba Eggman? Now, those are all words, but I'm pretty sure they're not in the Bible. Hello, welcome. Thank you for the raid. How are you? Oh my god. I'm out of rings. I'm out of rings. Time over. Unfortunate. So, how did Dot Hack go? I hope you had a good stream. Thank you for bringing these lovely Thank you for bringing this lovely person and yourself here. I've never actually played the GU games. I really loved the quadrilogy. And I just... At the same time, I was like, you know what, this is enough Dot Hack for me until they remaster the quadrilogy. And they never did. But I freaking loved those games. Ah. Ow. Ow. Ow, ow, ow. Running into a wolf on the fly here. I find this boss fight to be very silly. I like the little Amy dolls. You know, sometimes I think that Eggman isn't even that evil, but then I see him inventing gacha. Well, Greenlow, that's how they get you. You get so many free rolls, free spins. But then you have to invest 500 hours for your next spin. And time is money, too. You get so many free rolls, and then Eggman's machine blows up, yeah. And then you have to play for 500 more hours to get a new Eggman machine. I always see that thing on the back of the head as a big ribbon, a big old bow. And it makes the Titanic Monarch look so kawaii. Your internet is being potato. Unfortunate. Welcome in, Mel. How are you? It could also be the stream quality. My streams are presented at 2K resolution, so reducing the quality can help if your system can't handle that too well or your internet. Ox? Yeah. I always wonder about the downsides of me streaming at 2K, because I'm sure there's people who can't view my stream fine initially and they're like, you know what, no, not this lady. But at the same time, I pride myself on having a very good looking stream, even if my layout is basic as hell. Oop. Stream isn't an 8K? Oh no. You know, Twitch offered 4K as like a beta thing for a while for some streamers. But I think they came to the conclusion that it wasn't really worth the bandwidth. I understand it would cost them money, but also 4K actually is just a ton of bandwidth. So they mostly just switched to the 2K beta and forgot about, well, they didn't forget about it, but like postponed adoption of 4K until further notice. Ugh. Sorry, Knuckles. Oh no. Everybody's got drones these days. Even the random badniks. Okay, down we go. Going down. Ow. There's spikes down there, as it turns out. I love the stupid little knocking sound they make when they walk so much. This jerk. You kidding me? I can't attack him that way? Okay. Can't blame a gal. You know I had to try. Considering Ray jumps like crap. I don't think he actually jumps worse than Sonic does, like Knuckles does, but it feels like it, man. But I say he jumps like a plumber? No, but he flies like a plumber. Obviously, he's got a heck of a jump right now. Ow. I got shot. Almost to the end. Been about 2.5 hours so far. Sonic Mania is pretty long. That's the other thing about it, really. Like, I can finish Sonic 3 and Knuckles in less than 2 hours. Not Sonic Mania. I mean, I wasn't entirely wrong. It's in the right ballpark, but... You know, 3 hours isn't bad. Means I'm up for a little longer. Because I've been trying to bring my sleep back around, but it just has been really resistant. Should be doing more night streams when this stuff happens, but... Man... I don't know. I gotta get certain schedule worms out of my head. Which is funny because I don't even schedule my streams. Oh lord. Yeah, they tripled the price of getting a lifetime subscription to Plex Premium. I'm sure glad I got that well before then, since I use Plex pretty frequently for watching stuff with Masmi and Noel. But me and Masmi haven't gotten around to Farscape in ages. Man. What the... What? What? I'm sorry? Man, apparently I shouldn't have said that. But yeah, the deal on Plex Premium just keeps getting worse all the time. I have to do Act 1 again. For my purposes, thankfully, I just host on my own computer. But it's the watch together feature that is basically the most important thing for me. I don't really care about sharing media locally because, like, I have everything hooked up anyway, in a way where I never need to worry about that. Unless, heaven forbid, for some reason I wanted to stream a movie to this TV that I use as a monitor for the DDR machine? I can't imagine a situation where I would ever do that. Yeah, the thing about Jellyfin is you, like, have to do all of the user management and everything yourself. And it's very bleeding edge about it. But boy, they sure have had it made easy for them by Plex, because Plex just keeps removing offerings, and the modern Plex apps don't even support Watch Together. You have to use the, like, classic Plex app in order to have that feature. They just keep cutting stuff, dude. Like, frankly, they should be starring in a slasher film, they're cutting so much. Speaking of which, Behavior's been advertising and teasing for the announcement that's going to happen in a few days for Dead by Daylight's 10th anniversary. They've made it very possible from their teasing that it could be Jason, or it could even be it. Which would be an incredible pull, considering Stephen King doesn't seem very fond of video games. Who can really blame him after the terrible offerings that he got in the DOS and Super Nintendo eras? But he hasn't really tried since. You watched Scream 7? Did you like it? I haven't watched that one. I'm trying to remember if I even watched 6. I know I watched 5. Ow! There have been a lot of troubled days for Dead by Daylight. Honestly, the game is still in troubled days at the moment. But I've played the game so much I can't help but be at least curious when it comes to the new content coming. Especially when it's going to be something that's a big pull no matter what. Unless they decide, oh, sorry about all the teasing, actually it was The Last of Us? That would be terrible. Which, you know, I'm not insulting The Last of Us when I say that. But it is not a good fit for an anniversary event. It would be a terrible pull. Dead by Daylight has so much good stuff to it, but for one thing, the game is heavily balanced against killers, even though survivors will say differently. And that forces the killers who want to do good at the game to play the meta stuff very particularly. And then that makes the survivors go, oh no, it's balanced toward killers. Again, even though actually killers have like 5 viable things. Like, period. You've got like 5 viable killers and 5 viable perks. It has been this way for as long as I've been playing, which is a fair while now. I started with the Castlevania update. Basically, the times where it was actually biased in favor of killer have been long past, but they just keep making things worse in ways that make no sense. I hope for it to get better, though. Like, in theory, I love the game. You get what I mean? And it's hard to tell if I'll ever quit it permanently or not. It depends a lot on what behavior does. But yeah, I joined the game after it had already become biased toward killers and never became biased against killers, and never became biased toward killers ever again. Oh boy, Cal, do I ever know that. I run Lightborn permanently, which since I'm a Wesker main feels thematic, so nobody's ever complained. But if you run Lightborn permanently as any other killer, the survivors will call you out on it and say that it's a crutch perk. There's a toxic community in that game. Like, no matter which side it is. Like, there's less toxic killers, but there's still quite a few of them, considering, in theory, killer is supposed to be the power role, so you still get some toxic people who want to play it. But the amount of toxicity in that game from people in general is just insane. And occasionally you'll get killers that hold the match hostage as best they can and stuff like that. Best way to find info in the game is basically to just consult someone like Otz and like his website and things like that. Because at least Otz is almost never toxic. I won't say never because I've seen him be toxic like once, but that's like saying that I've never lost my patience. You'd be almost right. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Let's hope it doesn't crash in Act 2 this time. Cross your fingers and toes, everyone. And just for good measure, cross your hairs. Otz is basically the least biased person you'll find. Even though he plays Killer a lot, he also has a lot of experience with Survivor and gives very well-informed takes. Pretty much the only people that will disagree with him are the people who only play Survivor and wouldn't play Killer at gunpoint. Like the people who've played they've played like 5 hours of Killer and decided Killer has it easy. When you don't even get into the matches with actual, like, people of any skill in 5 hours of playing Killer. It's weird. And then you get, like, 20 hours as Killer, and every match is still Team 6. Not literally 20, it may even be more than that. The matchmaking of the game is screwed. Well, Sora, it's unfortunate for them since Friday the 13th shut down quite a while ago. But the new Halloween game is made by the same people, so it will probably be a pretty similar game made in the same engine. The bugs are frustrating? Yeah, Behavior doesn't know how to fix bugs for beans. Unless you meant Friday the 13th, in which case I can't comment. Yeah, Cal, you need a significant amount of experience in both roles to understand how messed up it is and which way it actually leans. You have to be somebody who enjoys both roles, too. Part of why Otz isn't very biased, because he enjoys both roles a lot. It has more hours in the game than almost anyone. But most content creators vastly prefer one or the other. Like, I would call myself a Killer main in those games, but I still enjoy playing Survivor, and, like, I don't spend my time as a Survivor constantly complaining or something. Yeah, as somebody working in programming for video games, I find Behavior's incompetence when it comes to bugs insane. Like, I know I've said this about enough games for it to practically be a meme, but I could do better by myself in terms of fixing a game like that than what they are doing. I seriously could. People will use stuff like, oh, the code is spaghetti, as excuses for bad programming. But the thing is, those are things you can fix. You can improve the code quality as you are working on it, and gradually refactor different parts of the program. But part of the program is Dead by Daylight is mostly made in Unreal Engine blueprints, which is not even actual code. It's scripting, and it's not very optimized scripting either. Electric shield. Yeah, they do act like they have more technical debt than World of Warcraft, which they absolutely do not. And their community manager is just... Why would you put someone like that in charge of community management? You players are so entitled, we never should have told you about the kill switch. Just because people wanted a broken perk kill switch? Like... Community manager should never be that toxic to anyone, ever. You shouldn't be managing a community if you're like that. And like, that kind of atmosphere where even the staff are kind of toxic is probably part of why the players get so toxic. Lead by example, I always say. Ah. Yeah, Darkrai. You can lead by example for good or for evil. It's a fact. And that's basically what I'm saying. I feel like they lead by example in the bad way. And they should be leading by it in the good way, but they aren't. Eh. I don't want to keep ranting about this. It's not very entertaining, I don't think. Although, I appreciate that you guys will listen to me just rant about things like that. Man. Flex and coming generational wealth bullcrap. That's... really glad I have that lifetime already. Talk about Vic Ireland instead. Oh, Jax. Such a merry prankster. You, I mean. Anyway, last boss time. I love how much that portal doesn't look like it belongs in the game, you know what I mean? I like when things like that just aren't matched up at all. Titanic Caution Monarch. Titanic Alert Monarch. I really think the problem with Gray's ability, his flight ability, is just the fact he can't use it offensively. So he can't even, like, safely go for an attack during this. Because the time when Eggman is vulnerable, everything's lightning. No, not the missiles. Yeah, Tail's propellers can hit things. Knuckles can hurt things by gliding into them as well. And Mighty's Stomp does damage, of course. It'd be frickin' weird if it didn't. At least things get a little easier once one of the arms is already destroyed. Oh god, not this one. And yeah, Origins Amy is really busted, but that's why I love her. She sounded like she would just be Sonic 2.0 on paper. Everyone was really bored by the idea of her. And then they actually play as her, and she's just super powerful. Ouch, I'm dead. Yeah, Metallics, you can hurt the hard-boiled heavies in this fight, but it's mostly meaningless to do so. It makes things go by a little faster in those phases, but that's like all you get out of it. Wah, wah, wah. Ah, I landed a little too early. Here come the hands. Ouch. That makes sense, Jax. Although, like, it's an already very long finale, it definitely doesn't need an additional section like that. So they were right to cut it, I think. And just do something with the boss like that. Although, it makes this part more buggy than it should be, too. Because the transition between mid-boss, you know, the heavies, and the main boss glitches out surprisingly often. And just gets you stuck. Like, it's a high enough chance that it's happened to me many times, both in vanilla and the decomp, but admittedly small enough that like most people won't run into it. Still, a problem. Oops. Game crashed. So, that's Sonic Mania. That is so stupid. Let's go raid Noelle. She has a t-shirt theme now. You can change her t-shirts. She's streaming at this time of day for once, so you can catch her without being awake at 4 AM today. Yeah, you can redeem t-shirt changes with channel points on her channel, so check that out. And, you know, Noelle's very fun. She's my sister. She's great. She's Party Gigaboots. Go enjoy. I will see you soon with Retro Achievement Variety Stream. Night, everyone.